What book is it?
The DSM-4 diagnostic manual.
Cool.
It tells you about every disorder you ever want to know about. I've had depression and bipolar disorder my entire life. It's really hard to diagnose juvenile bipolar disorder. But around the year 2000 was when I was officially diagnosed as bipolar. I sort of started feeling sad for no apparent reason. I was hospitalized, and when I got hospitalized, they were trying to identify, what were the triggers, what were the things that happened to you that brought you to, they called it a nervous breakdown at first. So when they said I had a nervous breakdown, I was like, in 2000, I was 19. A nervous breakdown feels like you want to crawl out of your own skin. And so if you can imagine wanting to crawl out of your own skin or crawl into the deepest, darkest crevice of the world and hide from all of mankind, that's sort of what it feels like. It feels like you're out of body almost, watching yourself hide in a corner of a room where there's no light.
I think the real loss of youth almost started happening when my dad died at age 10. That started kind of that feeling of alienation early on, of feeling different than other people. I think when you lose a parent when you're young, just like in my case, I just think you develop these irrational or rational, whatever they are, feelings that other people are going to go, and you're a kid, so you don't understand it.
I didn't have a good home life when I grew up. Like, for a while it was okay, but then when I was about 15, my mom met this man, and he was abusive. He kept her prisoner. He wouldn't let her leave the house. And then I tried to get her to go with me, and she wouldn't. She said she loved him more than she loved me. So she was addicted to all kinds of, like, over-the-counter, or no, prescription medication and alcohol. And I remember when I got stabbed, she begged me to give her my oxycodone, and I told her no, and then she stole them when I was asleep.
So this is about 10 years worth of just what's in my head, essentially. And so when I was thinking about this and what, like you were asking, what is it to be depressed or to feel the things you're feeling, I thought of something I wrote in here about the time that I was diagnosed, which was when I was about 19. I was diagnosed by a psychologist. I was sent there by my parents, who noticed that something just wasn't right with me. So they said, you need to go talk to somebody, something's wrong.
Jason, I would really consider my first love. I met him my senior year. For the first time in my life, this guy that I was totally into, liked me back. So he had some really dark spells in our relationship, and at that time I was doing pretty well. If I ever talked about us taking time apart, or just even if he got really sad out of nowhere, I felt like I kind of had to pull him out of it. He was, kind of an insecure guy, and just really, I think, really fearful that I would leave him. I wanted more out of life. I hadn't had that deep depression yet. I didn't understand it. I was so young. I wanted to continue on with school and do a lot of things, and I was just really feeling claustrophobic in the relationship and scared about his depression. And when he came over that day, I sent him away, and he got in his car and sped off, and squealed out of the cul-de-sac, and that was the last time that I saw him. And I didn't know how he killed himself. I would find that out later, but that was the start of a lot of darkness.
I've attempted suicide 8 times. Well, I've overdosed all 8 times. One time I overdosed with, or 2 times I overdosed with a firearm in hand, and was seconds away from pulling the trigger. The scariest part is when you visualize it. So one time I was in my bedroom, and I had a bottle of pills sitting on the dresser, and I had a visualization of me laying in the pagoda chair with the empty bottle of pills in my hand. And then I stood up and I walked over to the mirror, and then I looked into the mirror and actually saw myself lying dead with the empty bottles of pill in my hand. You lose all sense of yourself. If there's no time, there's no space, there's nothing but you and opportunity. Maybe maybe there was a reason that I was attempting. Maybe there was a purpose behind the attempt. Maybe the attempt should have worked. Maybe when I swallowed the whole bottle of Tylenol, it should have killed my liver as it says it would. But I think it depends on the point of where you're at in your life. If you're happy, then yeah, you're happy to be alive. But I think in times of depression, or in times of extreme mania where you can't slow yourself down, I think you don't have any grasp on reality. I was in a psychiatric unit. I was on the detox side because I had just come off of an oxy overdose, and I was in the detox unit, and I still had the hospital band on, and I was sawing at my arm, rocking back and forth with the hospital band, trying to saw my arm off. And I realized that wasn't working. And then one of the behavioral health technicians came over to me, and he said, "What's going on?" I said, "I need a pencil. I 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 need a pencil." I just kept getting louder and louder. He's like, "I can't give you a pencil." I was like, "I need a pencil. I need a pencil." And I was like, "I need paper. I need a pencil. I need paper." And he's like, "Well, I can give you a crayon." And I was like, "Crayon? What's that gonna do for me?" He's like, "Well, you can write with a crayon too." And so I took it, and I wrote a piece. I wrote 2 poems back to back. "This world was made to torture me as it is the bane of my existence. My existence is meaningless as I am numb. Take a razor blade to my skin, I feel no pain. Put my fist to walls."
Past today, frequent morning thinking no longer seems to exist. Closed eyes only bring darkness. There is no more illumination. I stopped speaking completely. And I didn't know why. I wasn't making a statement. It wasn't like, I'm gonna give people the silent treatment. I actually didn't feel I had anything to say. So there was no need to speak. And we were sitting at dinner one night, just my parents and I just started college, and my dad looked at me and said, "What's wrong with you?" there's something wrong with you. And it was like a dam. I just broke down and started sobbing and said, I don't know, something's wrong and I don't know what it is. My mom and I looked for somebody I could go to, covered by insurance, and I saw this lovely woman named Julie for about 9 months, and she completely turned around my way of thinking, completely. How do I explain it? You're being so drained by people because you have nothing to sustain yourself because you feel so drained. So for somebody to have a conversation with you was exasperating because you had to give them energy that you were trying to conserve. And it was exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. I didn't have like suicidal thoughts or everything was just gray. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like not having any color in your life and not having any emotion toward anything and just being exhausted all of the time.
I think I was okay for a few years. I thought I was going to be okay, and then it started affecting me. Like some days I couldn't even move out of bed. I tried killing myself a few times, but I didn't succeed, thankfully. People who haven't had depression think they know, and they tell you, get over it, it's not that big of a deal. They don't understand. They haven't been through it. I have a counselor. They help. Thankfully, I'm lucky enough to have enough Native American in me that I can go to the Indian Health Center for free. We do like little activities to try to connect to people because I'm really bad at connecting to people. I think it's helping already. I've only been doing it for about a year, but I think it's helping already.
You hear such sad stories, and sometimes, people have reached the point of depression because they've been through so much, and no one would want to walk in their shoes. So to feel sad for an hour or sad for a day, I believe that that's the human condition. We all have disappointments, and to respond in a sad way just shows that we are an emotionally alive person. So that's not an indicator of depression. However, if every day a person feels sad and it's getting worse rather than better, at the 2-week point, that's the time when a person ought to say, I wonder if I have depression that represents a medical condition rather than just living the typical roller coaster of life where there are good days and bad days, happiness and sadness.
I don't feel like I'm at death's door. I'm at this place right now in my life where I'm starting to realize that I have to save myself. I'm not my depression, it's part of me.
Yeah, I guess what gives me hope is my 8 months of being well. My 8 months of consistently being regulated on my medicines and seeing my doctors regularly and getting in shape and staying in the gym and spending time with my family. Like, those things give you hope.
Oh, I'm funny. Stop saying that. I feel like I can, in terms of the depressions, I feel like I can manage it. I feel happy, and I feel like I've got a lot of the things that I want, in terms of, a happy kid, I've got a job that I like, I've got a nice place to live. The basics are sort of taken care of, and I feel really grateful for that.
I think that what is key is a person be aware of emotions. Life is a roller coaster, so we all have ups and downs. And I think if someone's aware of that, then they're more able to relate to someone whose life may be a far steeper roller coaster and a far wilder ride.
I think I can overcome it. I just think it's going to take a long time. It might be, I know it'll always be there my whole life, but I think I can get past it as best I can. I want to be happy.